Welcome to Star Joes. I'm your host Ryan, and today I'm actually doing another video I wasn't expecting to do. In my last reaction video to the whole Aubrey Sitterson situation, I said, well, this is the last time I really want to talk about it. But I also mentioned unless something really big happens, it kind of requires talking about it. Well, not too long after I released that video, we did receive some news. In fact, it was just the other day we received news that the title of Scarlett Strike Force was actually canceled. Initially, it was stated that it was canceled after issue 3. Bleeding Cool did an interview with Aubrey Sitterson, and he was talking about the title and everything, and then he talked about how it was canceled after issue 3. Shortly after that, it was confirmed that IDW actually canceled releasing even the first issue. The cutoff point for issue number 1 was approaching, and before that cutoff occurred, they decided to go ahead and cancel issue number 1. So issue number 1 isn't even going to be coming out from everything that I've been able to find. So basically what had happened is exactly what the G.I. Joe community as a whole, I know there were some people that were supporting the title and some people supporting Aubrey, but as a whole, the G.I. Joe community is getting what we were hoping for, which is we did not want this guy writing the G.I. Joe title anymore. There's a lot of people, as I mentioned in my last video, that are slanting it, that are twisting it into, a vocal minority is getting their way and everything else. No, that's what would have happened if the title had continued, because the whole reason he was taken off the title was because of low sales. Basically, pre-orders came in and the sales figures weren't there. So he's taken off the title. The title's not going to occur. That happens in the comic book industry. Now, did that happen because those of us that decided we weren't going to buy it because we didn't like what he was doing decided to actually not buy the title? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And we said that that's what was going to happen. We did not appreciate the things he was saying. We did not appreciate how he would lash out at people. We didn't feel that represented us as a community. We wanted him off the title. But we were going to do so by basically saying, putting our money where our mouth is and saying, we're not buying that title. We're just not going to. And then we kept that promise. There were people that supported Aubrey, and as I said in my last video, that said, well, we're not going to buy the title if you take Aubrey off of it. Well, where were those people? Because the title got canceled due to low sales. Again, his title was not selling well beforehand. Having a bunch of G.I. Joe fans not happy with comments that he made is going to cause those sales to even go further down. So this happens in comics all the time. And like I said, I did not want him taken off the title for the things he said. I wanted him taken off the title because the sales weren't there. Now, are the two related? Absolutely, the two are related. I'm not going to make any qualms about that. I'm not going to pretend like that didn't happen. But it should be because the sales aren't there. Now, this has been a long time coming when it comes to Aubrey Sitterson. There's been people who have told me, oh, he's a great guy. You should actually meet him. You should actually talk to him. I'm sure he's a fantastic, nice guy in person. The problem is his appearance when it comes to the fans, when it comes to Twitter, and it comes to social media in general. He lashes out at people. He attacks people. He does stuff just to rile people up. And I've even had people that support him that admit, yeah, he's not the best presence on Twitter. Yeah, he is somebody that doesn't paint himself in a positive light. Well, guess what? That's going to turn fans away. So I just don't understand the whole support when, I'm sorry, you're writing a licensed property. The fans of that licensed property are your biggest supporters or your biggest detractors. You have constantly lashed out at people. You've constantly done stuff that the fans don't like. Now, I'm not saying you cater to the fans and you pander to the fans or anything like that, but you do need to get the fans supporting you. You do need to reach out to the fans. You do need to talk to them. You do need to get to know them. You do need to find out what their interest is. You can push the envelope. You can stretch things out. You can do new things and everything else. But you shouldn't be doing it because you want to shake up the system. You shouldn't be doing it because, well, you know what, screw the rest of you. I'm doing it my way. And if you don't like it, too bad. Which is exactly the message we got often from him. So I'm sorry, you lost the fans, therefore you lost the sales, therefore you lost your job on the title. Now, I do wish him well. I hope that he ends up getting a job someplace else, working on a title that makes more sense for his mindset and the things he wants to do and where he wants to push the envelope. Now, because of all this occurring, what had happened was then Bleeding Cool, who did the initial interview and basically broke the news to everyone, then decided to do another article. And this was another, slanted take on everything else. And it doesn't paint the Joe community in a positive light. And it doesn't represent us accurately at all. Like I mentioned in my last video, there are people out there that are extremists. They're the ones that are like, I don't want this, I don't like that. And they're bigoted, they're sexist, whatever. That is not the majority of Joe fans. That is not the majority of fans in general. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that probably 99% of the people that are saying stuff like that aren't even reading the comic. They're just finding it as an outlet to spew their hatred out there. Because when it comes to the Joe community, Bleeding Cool, you just don't get it. And what I want to talk about here is an article that came out from Bleeding Cool. The title of the article is especially something I wanted to talk about, but then I want to talk about something they mentioned in the article. They mentioned the title of the article is IDW cancels female-focused G.I. Joe comic before the orders are in. And this is posted by Jude Terror, which I think is just an appropriate name for the author of this. Basically trying to use scare tactics to say, look, the G.I. Joe community, those that are reading this comic and support G.I. Joe, they hate females. They don't want females leading their title. That's basically what this title says. It says, again, IDW cancels female-focused G.I. Joe comic before the orders are in. So your whole slant on this is that we didn't want Scarlett leading the G.I. Joe team. Huh. It's funny because we're buying First Strike, which has Scarlett leading the G.I. Joe team. And that was actually done pretty well. G.I. Joe has had Scarlett on the team since the beginning of G.I. Joe, since the beginning of at least the 80s version of G.I. Joe. She was one of the first figures. In fact, that was revolutionary at the time. Female, it just blows my mind. So I wanted to give you guys some examples. Bleeding Cool, I know you're probably never going to see this. No one there is going to see this. I wish they would, because it's absolutely asinine. You don't understand the G.I. Joe community at all when it comes to inclusiveness and everything else. In fact, if anything, the problem with Aubrey was he didn't want to include the G.I. Joe community in his decisions. So just going to show you a few comics here. So we had Fun Publications, which was a title issue that came out through JoeCon. They were the ones that sponsored JoeCon. All female characters on this issue, this title that came out for this. Interesting. We have the Baroness action figure cover that was done. Baroness, another female, strong female villain out there. One of the heads of Cobra, one of the leaders of Cobra. We have Bomb Strike, and these are some recent issues of G.I. Joe Real American Hero. Bomb Strike took down tanks and saved people by herself. Shocking. As a female focused, us in the Joe community, how could we possibly enjoy a comic that has a female focused lead like that doing stuff? My personal favorite, Lady J here on the cover. My second favorite Joe, seconded only by Flint, who she's actually protecting and saving here. A female Joe protecting a male character. Will wonders never cease? I mean, seriously, like, I don't understand how could we possibly accept that as a Joe community. Then we had issue 228, again, a fairly recent issue within the last year or so. It has Baroness on the cover and the new character Dawn on the cover. This was a completely female issue. Every character in this issue was female, and this was a fantastic issue. And I know a lot of people that love this issue. They really enjoyed reading this. All females in this, but we have a problem with female focus. I know what you're thinking though. Well, yeah, you showed me a bunch of other characters, but this was going to be Scarlett leading them. And Scarlett's name was going to be on the title. That just said G.I. Joe on the title. Huh, because we did have Scarlett Declassified, an issue back when Devil's Due did G.I. Joe, which is a huge fan favorite back then. Yeah, this was all issue all about Scarlett and her history, and that was fantastic. Just like the Baroness, we did have the action figure cover. Again, Scarlett was one of the first action figures in the very first wave of G.I. Joe. We had Chuck Dixon's run on G.I. Joe, which, got Scarlett on the cover here. And I know you're saying, well, yeah, but this was going to be Scarlett leading G.I. Joe. And, that's the problem, is there was a female-focused, lead that was going to be leading G.I. Joe. Yeah, Karen Traviss already did that. Scarlett was leading G.I. Joe back when she did it. So, and this was actually, I was sad to see Karen Traviss's run end, because it was really well done, and I know a lot of Joe fans that really enjoyed this. So I really don't get where you're getting your title from, because that was and just to let you know, I didn't search for these. I just went to my G.I. Joe, short boxes and stuff like that. I was like, let me pull out some recent issues that have women on the cover that I know are part of the main story that's going on, and found a bunch of them. I was like, well, let me go back to some of the other issues. Went to the Devil's Due run, boom, I remembered Scarlett Declassified, picked that up. I went to the Karen Traviss run, because I remember that, there probably was, geez, he was a female writer writing Scarlett as the leader, but yet the Joe fans were fine with that. Now, not saying every Joe fan liked every run, of course not. It's a comic, but we don't have a problem with Scarlett. In fact, I'd be willing to bet the majority of Joe fans were perfectly fine with Scarlett leading G.I. Joe. It makes perfect sense. And in fact, if another writer comes in and does something with IDW continuity when it comes to G.I. Joe, if they announce that they're going to have Scarlett leading the team, I don't think anyone would have any problem. So now I know, Bleeding Cool, if you're seeing this, I'm sure, well, it's the whole Salvo issue. Yeah, the whole issue with Salvo had nothing to do with it being a female character. The whole issue with Salvo was the fact that they changed he was changing an established character. It had nothing to do with, oh, we made it a female character, we made it Samoan. No, it's the fact that you changed a character that people actually cared about and people actually liked. I don't like it when people change established characters either. It doesn't make any sense, and that doesn't matter. I don't care which way they're doing it. I've made it very well known. I don't like it when you change established characters. It's just not something I enjoy. I understand there can be alternate realities and alternate dimensions. That's fine. I get that. But Joe fans like their characters. Now, I will say that if you want to introduce new characters and you wanted to introduce a Samoan female character, fantastic. Give her a code name. Make her badass. We would have loved that. There's characters that have been introduced, like Helix, a character that I absolutely love. She's one of my favorite Joe characters, and she's relatively new. Probably within the last decade she was created. Probably less than that. We have characters like Dawn, who, and that's the other thing, you're probably picking up on things that Joe fans have had problems with, like Dawn has become the female Snake Eyes. It's not that she's a female. It's the fact of how you went about and did it. You killed the original Snake Eyes. I'm sorry to spoil that for anyone, but they killed the original Snake Eyes, and then they decided, oh crap, that was a bad move. Let's bring in a Snake Eyes substitute. They did that. The fans were like, not really feeling this character. And that was actually a male character. So then they were like, well, let's do this. Brought Dawn in. Well, actually, Dawn was a really awesome character. She was done very, very well. I loved her. I thought she was kick-ass. It was a great character to develop. And then you wipe out her memory and insert the old Snake Eyes memory into her, making her the new Snake Eyes. She has the memories of Snake Eyes. It's completely asinine and dumb. It has nothing to do with it being a female character. It has to do with that you just replaced the Snake Eyes that you had with a new Snake Eyes, and you totally ruined a brand new character of Dawn. So it's crazy. And the thing with Salvo too is the fact that these are supposed to be the best of the best, the elite of the elite, and you made it this giant, chubby female character. And again, it's not that it's female, it could have been a giant, fat male character. That's not the best of the best. That's not the toughest of the tough. You can make a big, burly Samoan character, don't get me wrong, but that's not how she was drawn. She was drawn like stocky and pudgy and everything else. And then you did that to Shipwreck too. You gave Shipwreck a big gut. Now, gut on me, all right, fine. I'm not in the military. I'm not an elite strike force. Are there bigger guys in the military? Yeah. But are they like the best of the best, the top of the top, the elite of the elite, the ones that go in and save the day? No, they're typically not. Can't think of ever seeing one that was like that. So even the military guys that you guys are out there, you know this. Like, come on, it's ridiculous. And the big thing too is Aubrey kept trying to make the comic a launching ground for all of these social issues and everything else. And I get that, but at the same time, G.I. Joe is to the 80s licensed properties like Captain America is to Marvel and Superman is to DC Comics. They're supposed to be just this ultimate fighting force that fights the good fight because it's the good fight to fight. They're the ones that are out there supposed to be stopping the bad guys. It's meant to be pretty much black and white. These are the bad guys, we stop them. The G.I. Joe could be such a positive force in a lot of the stuff that's going on in our country right now, but instead you want to make the same problems that we're facing in our country part of making this a mess as well. Just put out something positive, put out something where these guys are fighting the good fight. It blows my mind too, the fact that you want to make G.I. Joe, well, let's make him an international team because it should be international. We shouldn't be focusing on America. Well, why shouldn't it be America in a positive light? Captain America, we haven't changed him to Captain International. Superman fights for truth, justice, and the American way. I know mine says the Cleveland way, that's where I live, so. But it's truth, justice, the American way. He doesn't fight for truth, justice, and the international way, yet both of those characters, Captain America and Superman, they do help internationally. They do fight the good fight internationally. They do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. That's what G.I. Joe is. They fight the good fight. They include everyone because they have special skills. It's never, in G.I. Joe, it's never been about race and gender and all this type of stuff. It's been about picking the best of the best and having them join the team to fight the good fight. And all Aubrey did was like, okay, well, let's turn them into some pudginess and let's throw out this because it's going to aggravate the fans and I want to shake things up with the fans and everything else, but never reaching out to the fans, never talking to the fans. And anytime the fans were upset with him, he lashed out at them. It didn't make any sense. And then you have someone like Bleeding Cool who writes an article called saying IDW cancels female-focused G.I. Joe comic. It wasn't even a female-focused G.I. Joe comic. It had Scarlett in the title. That's why you think it's female-focused. If anything, the title I showed you, where it was that one issue that was all women in it, that was a female-focused issue. So, Bleeding Cool, I'm so ashamed. I used to love the Bleeding Cool website. And then the more and more I got into involved with comic creators and getting to know them and everything, so I started finding out how much Bleeding Cool slants things to the way they want it to be. So one of the other things that they mention here is at the very end, they said, with no official PR, the book's writer forbidden from doing interviews, and cancellation of Scarlett's strike force looks less like a matter of financial performance and more like self-fulfilling prophecy. Canceling the book in response to the controversy would blatantly appear to be capitulating to harassment. They actually mention in this that it was a vocal minority of readers. No, it wasn't. It was a large majority of readers. It was a large majority of G.I. Joe fans. You can go on any message board and mention the name Aubrey Sitterson, and everybody on there, just about everybody, like I shouldn't go to the extreme, I hate extremism, but most of the people on there are going to be like, oh my God, they'll bring up like 8 different things that he's done or said that just lashed out at the fans or lashed out at people in general. That how he didn't seem to really actually care about the property. As much as he might actually care about the property, it never seemed like it. So, Bleeding Cool just blows my mind. You know, basically they're saying, you know, and then they said they reached out to IDW, but they didn't get any comment from them. Yeah, because you're making them look like the bad guys. You're making them look like they did something wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. The sales weren't there. Gets canceled. Happens all the time. But in this case, the sales weren't there because he pissed off a lot of people that decided we're not going to buy the title anymore. And he can spend all day long convincing himself it was, well, it was due to low sales. And it had nothing to do with my 9/11 comment. It had nothing to do with me lashing out at the fans. The two are related, dude. I hate to tell you that, but the two are related. And like I said in my last interview, or my last video, I would be willing to have a civil conversation with Aubrey. And let's talk about this. Let's air things out. Let's find out what's going on in his mind. I know it's not going to happen, but be willing to have that conversation. But to convince yourself that one had nothing to do with the other, to have websites like Bleeding Cool here just twisting it. Oh, and here's the big thing about the Bleeding Cool article. So it talked about female-focused title getting canceled. And then nothing in the whole article talked about that. It talked about how it was canceled due to this change and this comment and these things happening, blah, 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 and the sales happening. Nowhere in it did it mention that it was because there was a female character leading the G.I. Joe team. Absolutely blows my mind. So, total clickbait article, totally spun to make us all look bad. So here's the thing I'm throwing out there for you guys. IDW did the right thing. The sales weren't there. They canceled the title. We have 2 G.I. Joe titles coming out, about to come out. We have one out currently, which is G.I. Joe or American Hero. That's Larry Hama writing it. We have a new artist on there who's doing an awesome job. Definitely recommend continuing to get that title, support that title. And then we have G.I. Joe or American Hero versus the Bionic Man or $6 Million Man, however you want to refer to him. I believe the title is going to be $6 Million Man. So that is going to be drawn by longtime G.I. Joe artist Shannon Gallant. Ink's going to be done by Brian Shearer. 2 great friends of mine. Their art is fantastic. I got to know them because I loved their artwork, and then they became friends, and they're just awesome guys. And as I had mentioned in a previous video, like, I personally was only boycotting the Aubrey Sitterson title because I didn't want to penalize other creators. I know there's a lot of you out there that decide to cancel and not get any IDW titles. I totally support you on that. I totally understand it. But now IDW has done the right thing. They've made the right decision. Now, as G.I. Joe fans, we need to let them know that we do want a G.I. Joe title. It just wasn't that one. So definitely am asking you guys to support A Real American Hero, support the crossover with A Real American Hero and $6 Million Man. Let IDW know that we want a G.I. Joe title, that we support a G.I. Joe title. That just wasn't it. And now the great thing is that IDW can take some time with these 2 titles being out there to take some time and find some creators that actually can embrace the fans. Again, don't have to cater to the fans, just embrace the fans and care about the property and care about giving us a title that we actually would love reading. So that's all I have to say about this. Sorry this one went a bit long again, but had a lot to say about it. Bleeding Cool, you gotta get your act together. It's ridiculous already how much you're trying to spin the readership as the bad guys. You do understand that the readerships are the people that are going to actually read your article as well. Again, you don't have to cater to us, but you should embrace your fans and stop making us look like the bad guy when you obviously didn't do your research. You obviously didn't look into any of this. The G.I. Joe community is an amazing community. I love the people I've met in it, and I'm glad that this happened. I don't celebrate anyone losing their job. It's not cool. It's not meant to happen. But in the comic book industry, people lose their jobs because the sales aren't there, and the sales weren't there. The sales weren't there because of actions that were taken. So appreciate all of you guys. Let me know what you think about everything that's been going on. I do promise you my next videos, I have actually some videos that were already recorded. One was an unboxing video. I'm not turning this channel into an unboxing channel, but there was just some unboxings that I wanted to do. because they were just cool things related to the show. I am going to be coming out with some comic reviews. Those will be the next things coming out. This thing I'm putting to rest. It's done. It's over. We get to wash our hands of it, and now we get to actually support some awesome G.I. Joe titles that are going to be coming out. We get to support all the other stuff that's coming out, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Star Wars, anything else that's out there. I mean, there's Ghostbusters. There's so many awesome 80s properties that I want to talk about on this channel, and I want to hear from you guys on this channel. So looking forward to getting back to that. I'm glad this is done. I'm glad that, in my opinion, the right thing occurred. I hope you guys feel the same way. Let me know what you think in the comments. Looking forward to it. Click that like button if you enjoyed all this, and definitely click that subscribe button. Spread this video around. It's the best way to get more attention to this channel, which I would absolutely love, and I appreciate any of you that are already doing that. So with that, we'll go ahead and close by saying the Force will be with you, because knowing us is half the battle. Take care, guys.